card with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a back by the end. Say, oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Green Diamond Boxing, hosted by iBoxingHub. My name's Aiysha, and just before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, D-Rock. Please check out their clothing on their website. You can use promo code iBoxingHub24 for 40% discount on all their clothing. Today, my guest is amateur boxer Aya Hijazi, the first hijabi that I'm actually interviewing. So, assalamu alaikum, Aya, and welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's everything been on your end?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, very well, thank you. How's your Ramadan going?
Yeah, it's going quite well. Still, I think we're halfway into it now.
Yeah, halfway, yeah. So you're training as you're fasting?
I am, but luckily my training is mainly in the evening, so
Okay.
I work around that.
Okay, alhamdulillah, that's really good. So just to start off, because not a lot of people might know about you or your background or your story, can you just give a quick short intro about you? So like your age, what weight class you fight at, what club you're currently at?
So I'm 25 years old. I fight at 60 kilos, and I box for All Stars Boxing Gym in London.
Whereabouts is that?
Oh, in London, West London, so around West 10.
Okay. Great. So when did you actually start boxing and how did you get into it?
So I actually started around 18, sort of coming on to 19.
Mm-hmm.
I started boxing because I came from a taekwondo background. So I got injured in that and I got so bored I sat at home just waiting for this injury to go. So I came down to my local boxing gym and just got used to my hands while my legs were recovering.
Oh, wow. So have you always been at this gym then, or have you been at other ones as well?
No, this is the gym I started at.
This is where you started, okay. And how were your family members when you got into it? Was it just for like fitness or when you started at first, or?
I just wanted to use it as something while I was recovering, but it just kind of stuck with me. So I couldn't go back to taekwondo because my injury just wouldn't let me. Right. But yeah, my family always kind of knew that, okay, great, she's starting boxing now. So I think they knew that I was going to stick with it and fighting it as well.
Yeah. And they've always been quite supportive of you, like being an amateur and doing fights.
Yeah.
They're
not big on boxing itself, but okay, she's competing in boxing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really nice that your family are so supportive, because not a lot of, families probably would support their Muslim daughter going and fighting. And I know my mom wouldn't be too happy if I was actually fighting. I box, but I box just for like self-defense and fitness and that kind of thing. But as actually fighting, I think she might have a bit to say about it. But it's always nice to know that families are supportive.
I think they would have more issue with it if I dropped out of education, because it's always that is the most important thing. As long as you have that, you can do whatever you want. So, well, not whatever you want, but like you can box basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you're studying as well? Are you at university?
Yeah, I'm at university.
And what are you studying?
I'm studying biomedical sciences.
Oh wow! Okay. So, any plan to do anything with that, or you just doing it?
No, I definitely have plans. I couldn't do something for that number of years and not do anything with it. So yeah, I do plan to take my degree and progress with that further.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you think you wanted to do that as well as doing your boxing together, like side by side?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing it now, so it's not too different.
Okay.
So I do study alongside my training as well, and I also work. So it's quite a juggle, but we get it done. And I think like the only limitation you really have is the ones you place on yourself. Everyone sort of thinks, oh my God, they're doing so much, I could never do that. But that is already your set limit that you've put on yourself. Anyone can do whatever you want to do. And if I choose that I want to do my degree and box, then here I am.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I want to ask you a bit about your club, because it's got a really lovely backstory. Like the founder was Aiysha Saleemi. And yeah, I just was reading about it and it's really nice. Could you just tell us a bit about the founder and his story?
So All Stars was founded about 50 years ago by Aiysha Saleemi, and it started in a estate buildings way before I was born, so I can't tell you from memory here. So Aiysha Saleemi was training the local kids, getting them to boxing, helping them get off the streets and away from crime, stuff like that. And they were using the residence corridors, from what I've heard from the coaches here, to actually do all the training there. They had skipping in the elevator and everything, all sorts. So the council got wind of it, and then obviously they gave them All Stars, and here we are in this current building, which is, I think, used to be a church. So it's quite big on the inside, and quite a lot of space as well. So we do have club shows as well. Aiysha Saleemi is no longer with us. He has passed away. So his son, Muf, has taken over now.
Okay.
And yeah, story goes on.
So who's your coach? Is that your coach then, or?
Yes. So we have several coaches at All Stars.
Okay.
We all work together as a unit, but my main coach is Muf. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So obviously you're a hijabi amateur boxer. How has it been for you, like your journey in terms of being a hijabi and a boxer in those spaces? I'm sure that's a question you get asked a lot, but what is that like? What has it been like for you?
I mean, I know it's not considered ordinary, whatever that means. I don't pay too much attention to it, to be honest. I don't see myself as being particularly different from anyone else. I just cover my head. That's literally it. I know in terms of culture, I wouldn't say religion, but culture, that has a big part to play, because it's not the norm within certain cultures. Oh, she's a girl and she's wearing a scarf and she's practicing Muslim. Like, oh my god, the horror. So yeah. So yeah, I honestly couldn't care less, because I know within myself that I'm not doing this for anyone else. I'm doing this for me, and I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still being respectful of who I am and what I represent as well. So
yeah, amazing. So how many amateur fights have you had? Because I couldn't find this now on BoxRec. It wasn't up to date. So. How many fights?
Let's go. I've had 2 according to BoxRec.
Yeah, according to BoxRec.
I've had 2.
But you're a lot more experienced than that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. You don't want to mention how many fights you had.
I don't really talk about it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You had a fight recently, though, didn't you?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, and that was for the regional championships.
Yep. So we had the semi-finals Saturday 16th, and then we had the finals on the 22nd, this Friday gone. And yeah, very, very much enjoyed those, and got the win.
Yeah,
so now I'm London champion.
That's amazing. A huge congratulations to you for that. So your next stage now, when's the next fight? Have they got a date in? Have they already mentioned a date for the nationals, or?
So once you win the regionals, you proceed on to nationals. So I think the next dates for those are the 13th and 14th of April, and those will be the quarters and the semi-finals on the same weekend.
Oh wow!
And then the weekend following that will be the finals.
The finals, okay. Yeah. And how are you feeling about that? Is that something that you're excited about? I mean, it's around the corner. It's not that far away, is it? And you've literally just fought, and it's 3 weeks later, and you're fighting again.
Yeah, I mean, it's very close by. It's I'm just training. I'm just ticking, focusing on things that I needed to work on. Given my last fight, I mean, I know win's a win, but you always have things that you need to develop and improve on. So we're just working on those things right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the goal? Is it to get to the Olympics? Is that what you're hoping for?
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate prize in amateur boxing. Is any sport is to get to the Olympics.
Get to the Olympics, yeah. No, amazing. So in terms of like boxing, are you someone who watches boxing fights quite often? Are you the person sitting on like near the TV always watching the fights, or not really?
I don't think my uni would allow me to spend hours looking at boxing videos, because I'm mostly doing that. But in terms of watching boxing, I do watch boxing. I don't watch the pros very much, just because it
Okay.
is a different game to amateurs. I do watch the amateur boxing like videos and stuff, and I look through like the European competitions and high level amateur boxing.
Yeah.
I do watch some pros, but it needs to interest me for me to watch it.
Okay.
I wouldn't just watch a random pro. I don't know who they
Yeah.
are. Also, it's 12 rounds. I'm someone who gets bored quite easily. I don't think I could sit through for an hour. So.
So which kind of a fight would interest you then? What one have you seen recently, or is what's upcoming that you think has been of interest to you?
So in terms of pro boxing, I've enjoyed Savannah Marshall's fight. I've enjoyed Katie Taylor's recent success.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the recent ones in Saudi Arabia. I've been meaning to. But yeah, I like those fights that they were. No, I can't talk. I like those fights. Also, they're quite action packed as well. So it's not like a staring contest as you find most pro boxers. So I feel like that's where the boredom comes from, when it just sort of staring at each other for a good 30 seconds, and I'm just behind my screen, do something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, absolutely. And you're so right. Like, those fights have been so action packed, like Katie Taylor's last fight. I love watching Amanda Serrano as well. I think she's brilliant. She was actually the first woman to do the 12 rounds, 3 minutes. What do you think about that? And is that something that you're for, women doing 12 rounds, 3 minutes like that?
I mean, if we train for it, why not? I don't see why not, because we put in the same amount of effort as any other person, as the boys, as the guys. So if we're fit to do that, I don't see why we should be limited to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So in terms of like pro boxers, either current ones or ones in the past, who's been your most inspirational fighter?
I think across the board, every female in boxing can say Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
Just because of what she's done for the sport, and she's really she's really paved the way for female boxing, alongside Caroline Dubois and Savannah Marshall and a few of the others that are currently all pro now. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I think she's amazing. Do you think that she's going to fight again? Like, I keep thinking that she's going to retire, and like I think you're thinking this is going to be her last fight, and then she's going to announce her retirement. But she hasn't.
She's quite a stubborn one. I don't know if she would want to retire. I feel like she's that kind of person who just will always have an itch to fight. So I don't think I could say for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So in terms of like your fights and things, how do you, because it takes a lot of hard work, takes a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
What is it that makes you carry on through that difficulty, like having to wake up at a certain time, train really hard, all of that physical and mental strain? How do you manage that?
Oh, wow. I suppose I don't feel happy going through, and I don't think that this just applies to boxing. I don't think I would be happy with my life if I was just going through the motions.
Right.
I feel like even with boxing or with uni, there needs to be a sense of purpose. So that is what keeps me going. On top of that, what I'm doing in boxing, what I wear on my head, that is representation. I am representing more than just women in boxing. I'm representing an entire, I don't want to say religion, but an entire group of young girls who may feel like they can't do X, Y, and Z because of whatever reason. So that is also another factor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So is it those things that keep you driven and keep you going because of all of that you're thinking? Yeah. Do you feel like a bit of a pressure on your shoulders, because there aren't many hijabi boxers out there? There's like about 2 or 3 that I can think of top of my head, that amateurs. Do you feel pressure at all?
I don't feel pressure in a bad way, where it makes me want to sort of like quit. I feel it's like a good kind of pressure, like you're doing something good. You're doing something to inspire others, and you're also inspiring yourself along the way to say, I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know of that hijabi boxer in Australia, Tina Rahimi? You might have come across her. I think she did a amateur fight on the undercard of a professional fight recently, if I understood it correctly from her Instagram. And I thought that's such an amazing idea because, you know, we concentrate a lot on the professional fights, as we should, but I feel like we don't give enough of a spotlight to our amateurs and, you know, the boxers of the future. Do you think that that's a good idea of, you know, doing some amateur fights on undercards of professionals? And is that something that you might like to do if the opportunity arose?
Yeah, definitely. I don't see why not. I mean, boxing's boxing. Of course, you know, with amateurs and pros, they are slightly different in terms of, you know, number of rounds, maybe styles. But when people come to watch boxing, I think it would be a good thing to get them to see the two sides.
Yeah.
That despite its name, amateur boxing can be performed at an elite level, at a high standard. So for spectators to come and get the best of both worlds, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Any other ideas of how else we could maybe highlight amateur boxers? Is there anything else that you think we could be doing that's not currently happening?
Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
This is something I need to go away and think about.
Yeah.
I think more representation, because everything is very focused on pros. When people talk about boxing, they talk about pros. They don't think about the amateur side. And when they think about amateur boxing, because of the name amateur, they don't think it's anything serious. So a lot of time when I tell people I do boxing, oh, what sport do you do? I say boxing. Oh, you pro? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
not pro. I say I'm an amateur, and they kind of deflate a bit. It's like, oh. And I said, and then I have to kind of remind them that despite the name, amateur boxing can be performed at a high standard. So I have to sort of use an example and say, the Olympics is amateur boxing. And then suddenly they light up again. Oh, really? Is it? I didn't know that. So I think if we had a bit more recognition on that side of things, where people are able to see both sides, then that would, I think, help out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for like as boxing fans as well, it'd be nice to know about the up and coming, you know, fighters as well. And, you know, unless you actively go out and look and go and watch amateur fights, you don't really know of those names. So it would be really nice, I think, for us as boxing fans.
Things maybe were televised a bit more. So, for example, the European Games, the Worlds, if they were spoken about in the same manner that pro boxing is talked about, say on BBC News or Sky Sports or anything like that, then perhaps people would get to know about it a bit more.
Yeah, even the regional ones, though, the nationals, you know, all of those, they should be televised as well, because there's a, you know, one stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So you can follow people through all those different stages until they get to the end, you know?
Yeah. I think, though, with those ones, because they're not always like at the same venue or the same setup, it's a bit more difficult because they're quite scattered. So I do know that the national elite amateurs for seniors, that is usually streamed on BBC Sport,
right?
And I don't think they did that a few years ago. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, so it's slowly coming. I guess. I mean, but nowadays everything's so easy in terms of streaming, isn't it? Like, I really don't think that there's an excuse. I think they should just do it. Really. So, I wanted to ask you about attire and modest wear when you're fighting, because obviously you wear the hijab when you're boxing. I haven't done any sparring yet, but because the way I wear my hijab when I'm training is not like this. I wear it like differently, which means that if someone punched me in my head, my hijab would fall off, right? So how comfortable or uncomfortable is it to wear do you wear the Nike hijab? Is that the one that you normally wear? Nike, right? So how comfortable is that? I've heard some people complain about it as well.
So in terms of hijab, I started off boxing wearing the actual wrap, and I had pins everywhere. Like that thing used to stay, and I would even like pin the bit that used to come over the top of you. I used to pin that to my shirt as well, so it doesn't flap in my face. But when like released their hijab, a few others have as well, like Adidas, Under Armour, even Gymshark now have released a sports hijab. I thought, okay, let me give it a go. Most people don't like it because of the way it makes them look. So the egg.
Yeah.
But I found a way around that. So I just wear like a separate layer underneath,
Oh,
and
okay.
that keeps it all in place. Also, the material is quite light. It's as if you're wearing a base layer, but for your head.
Oh.
And by wearing a separate layer underneath, it doesn't slip and slide as much. But yeah, I think it does a pretty good job, considering that I don't have to wrap my hair.
Yeah.
In the same way like how you're wearing at the moment, because it's not ideal. So it doesn't get in the way when I'm training or anything like that.
Yeah.
In terms of like attire for fighting, so I just wear a normal Under Armour like base layer, vest goes on top, with shorts, wear leggings under that, again sportswear, and then shorts go on top of that. So it's nothing that no athlete has ever done in the winter. So it's the same as that.
Yeah. Do people treat you any differently for wearing things differently, for looking different, or do you feel quite welcome and quite, kind of safe in the environments?
I do get stares sometimes. Whether they're good or bad, I can't really tell, because I'm just doing my thing. On my way home, sometimes maybe from training, whether I've just been at a normal gym or from boxing, sometimes I just can't bother to change because I'm go straight home and shower there. But I would still be in kit, so I'd still be in my shorts and my leggings and my t-shirt and base layer, depending on the time of day. I could wear a jacket or not. So I do get looks thinking, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
But I've never experienced anything negative.
Okay.
I've never experienced anything negative. I mean, 2 days ago, there was a man on the train saying, "Oh my God, Nike do hijabs now." So,
oh really? Okay.
you don't know.
Yeah.
No, but I've not experienced anything negative.
Okay, well that's good, alhamdulillah. That's really nice. So you can just carry on doing your journey, fighting and boxing and stuff, and just it's nice that you just are focused on what it is that you want to do, and you're not really worried or thinking too much about the outside. It's not always so easy for people to ignore the outside and just focus on their thing. They get a lot, distracted a lot from other people's opinions and thoughts, and it seems like you don't really let that bother you.
No, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I would say I noticed it more when I first started boxing. Even when I was doing taekwondo, it still out of the ordinary. There are more women wearing hijab in taekwondo than there are in boxing. But yeah, I was more conscious of it when I first started. I did get a few comments here and there. Oh, what are you doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've just learned over the years to sort of just carry on.
That's really nice. This is really good to hear that you just just get on with it and just carrying on with the thing that you want to do. So if there's any like young girls looking at this and they want to get into it, a bit concerned, a bit worried about how people might perceive them, what sort of advice or guidance would you give them?
Just do it.
Like the Nike slogan.
No,
literally.
the thing is, I'm not doing this on purpose. Like, I'm not advocating for Nike. Like, I've got North Face. I'm not representing any brand at the moment. Okay, but it is true. You just go out and do it. And I know some people can get scared to just go out and do it, but do it with a friend, do it with a family, or a sibling, or just someone, or just go out and be the person that you want to see in the future. That is, it's as simple as that. I feel like, especially within our communities, we might get a bit pressured. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. But says who? I think once you start asking yourself these questions, then the more you come to the realizations, hold on a second, I'm actually not limited by anything. You're still being respectful, you're still practicing, you're still doing all the things that are required of you. Like, for example, as a Muslim, okay, you're not going against anything. So who says that you can't? I honestly can't simplify it more than that. So for all the young girls out there who might feel a bit scared because of X, Y, and Z factors, this is your life. Like, you're not hurting anyone. You're not hurting yourself. You're not hurting your family. So just go out and be the best version of you.
That's really nice, lovely message, actually. Just quickly, the last thing I want to ask you is, what is it that you really love about boxing? Everybody loves something slightly different about it that really keeps them in it. What is it for you that you really love about the sport?
I love the energy, the community, the vibes, and also the training, getting into the ring. It's just, there's no other feeling. You can't explain it. It's not the same as playing football or basketball or anything like that. Yeah. It's just a different kind of energy, different kind of adrenaline that you feel when you are hitting the bags or in the ring or doing pad work. Yeah, I guess that's what I like about boxing, because it's different. It's something different.
Yeah, it really is.
You're not normal to want to do boxing. Like, who wants to? Oh, I want to go get hit. So yes, I think that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, definitely. So if people wanted to come and watch you fight in your next fight, for example, how can they find out about that? Do they need to buy tickets, or how does that work?
So typically you need to buy tickets, depending on where. So with amateur boxing, it can be quite unpredictable. People can pull out last minute. But with championships, that's more secured in terms of who you're fighting. People still do drop out, but there is a set time and place. So for that, you would need to go on the England Boxing website and all the information on where it is, or if there's live streaming on YouTube, for example, you can find it on there as well.
Okay, amazing. And if people want to follow you and your journey, can you just let us know your social media handles that people can follow you on, please?
So my social media handle is called The A Project with 2 underscores at the end.
Amazing. Aya, thank you so much for your time. It's been so lovely to have you on the show. I wish you all the best in your next fight. Inshallah, you win. I hope the rest of your Ramadan goes well. And I'll be following your journey, and I hope everyone watching will be following your journey as well. Thank you so much, and inshallah, speak to you soon.
Amazing. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Assalamu
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever hit up. Light up my scars with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a back body.